gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This is Pastor Rosemary coming to you from Ansara Angels Ave. Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to your 2015 Year of the Sheep, the year that the sheep and the goats are separated by the Lord God Almighty. This is Pastor Rosemary coming to you from Ansara Angels Ave. Okay, Capricorn, in Christian Kabbalah, your ruling planet is Saturn. Now, Christian Kabbalah is esoteric Christianity, the things nobody wanted to tell you about when you were a kid. So continuing, Saturn is going to affect you this year, again, because it's your ruling planet. It's going to be going retrograde on March 14, 2015. Saturn transits retrograde again on March 14th, 2015. And this ingress to retrograde transit is into Sagittarius. And that's going to cause a drop in your perceptions. So your perceptions are going to become a little bit like tunnel vision. And this is going to be due to what? It's going to be due to anxiety. That's all. So manage your anxiety and you'll be fine. Now this is going to last until August 1st of 2015. At that time, Saturn's going to transit direct into Scorpio on August the 1st of 2015. Now that's going to make you more creative and bring out all your wonderful creative aspects. You have a very deep psychic part to yourself, Capricorn. You have, on one end, you have the ability to really stick to what's lawful and want to be a leader of others, of which you are. On the other hand, you have such a deep psychic ability, it scares you because you don't feel you have a firm footing, because you're sort of half goat, half fish. Your head knows how to get you ahead, how to social climb in a very painstaking manner that's proper and correct. Whereas your psychic side, which is the back end of you, that part of you is so psychic that it frightens the practical side of you. It's frightening. Because sometimes people put you on a pedestal then only to knock you down. Because if you put someone on a pedestal, it feels so much better when you knock them down. And this happens to you. People do this to you. And it's not because they hate you. It's because they love you, but they don't know how to handle their love. They don't know how to deal with it. So sometimes they overreact. So you don't want to let other people's attempts to build you up and then break you down or knock you down affect you so much. Of course these things affect all of us, but what you need to do is just understand that they're not doing that out of hatred. They're doing that out of love, and they're doing it because they want to overprotect. They want to protect you. And then at one point, they protected you so well that you're doing well, and then they feel jealous or in love, which is actually the same thing. Jealousy and being in love are the same thing. And then that causes them to want to knock you down to size because they feel hurt in some way. So this is going to affect your love relationships, obviously your family relationships, and your business relationships, and your relationship with yourself, your own body. Now you don't want to give into addictions. that's going to be, where you might have a downfall if you simply don't give in to addictions and, spread the addictions around. Be addicted to many healthy things. And then you do well. Okay, so Saturn represents God the Father, who is the one who oversees all. The Father, God, who has laws put in place that have been there forever. Sort of the rock of ages. Now you have 3 halos around you, like the planet Saturn. So this makes others feel that they need to, always see you in a worshipful way. And you feel you need to always present yourself as a good angel. This can feel rather restrictive to you because other people want to put you again on a pedestal or protect you to the point or define you as someone someone who can do no wrong. And this can get very overwhelming for you at times. Now, this ingress into Sagittarius retrograde transit of Saturn, again on March 14, 2015, this is going to, you're going to have anxiety, but what you need in tunnel vision, but you need to understand that's going to actually help you not get too overwhelmed. Because if you were allowed full perception at this time, it would, when that happens, it would be so overwhelming you wouldn't do well. So it's not a bad thing, ultimately. Because you kind of won't understand. Again, this will clear up on August 1st of 2015 when Saturn ingresses direct into Scorpio, and that's going to be when your creativity is going to increase, and then you can utilize your creativity and you can utilize the retrograde aspect that happens before that with your perceptions by simply focusing. So simply focus, and this will help you, Capricorn, through the times when you feel that you're so anxious and you're having tunnel vision in the spring of 2015 when you just really don't know what to do through the spring until you get some relief from this aspect in August, on the 1st of August. All right, now regarding some of the people in your life that you feel you need to make sure that they don't get out of control. And what you're going to find, you're going to think that people have somehow learned their lesson, and that if you sort of let them out, so to speak, of your protective control, they are not going to necessarily behave the way you would like them to behave. Probably not. That doesn't mean that people don't get better, but it means they get better in their own framework. They don't become like you because they're different from you. In other words, if you confine an animal, it doesn't change the kind of animal that it is. It simply has different behavior within the realms of its own genetics, and its own spiritual genetics and its own physical genetics. Now, of course, people want to find out, well, how can I change it to be a different animal? At that point, when you want to completely get in there and change who someone is, that can be done, but it has to be done through forming some kind of partnership with them and creating, like if you're in a marriage, you create a child and it's going to have both your DNA. That's simplistic, but you can do that with a business as well. You can do that in any aspect where you're trying to merge with other people. But then they're going to have to become a little bit like you, and you're going to have to become a little bit like them. These relationships all have to do with basically your relationship with the good parent and the bad parent, which parent you are more alike, that you are more like, and then that person, what parent they're more like, and you're doing the same thing that the parents did, except you're just doing it a little better, because it always gets better. So don't fret, it always gets better. So you need to not argue, especially from what we said, March to August of 2015. Don't get into arguments with people. It's not going to be productive. Just stay focused on the task at hand. Just every day you know what you're supposed to do. Just do that. And don't get too caught up in trying to do things that are not only too many things, but also out of your realm. It's okay to learn and try new things, but don't take it too far. So you can stay very much as you prefer to be, which is firm footing on solid rock. Again, Capricorn really is more of a fish when it comes to the legs portion. So sometimes when you're trying to climb up these social ladders, you slip right off, because you never really did need to climb up anything, because you were already there, because you have good genetics, both spiritually and physically. Capricorn has very good genetics, very strong genetics, both physically and spiritually. So you don't really have to worry about climbing up the ladder. Okay, as far as, again, people in your life, you need to avoid confinement, and they need to avoid confinement. So don't try to confine other people in your life. Don't allow them to confine you to some specific way that you have to be. Because, again, we were talking about how people are going to have behavior that comes right back the way it used to be. We're talking about recidivism. Now, that doesn't mean people don't get better. They do. But there's still, people have a basic way that they are. And every person has a piece of the puzzle. Like in the old pirate stories where you return the piece of the puzzle to the treasure, and and everything comes back to life. Sort of a raising from the dead. That's from the Zohar, where every person has their own unique understanding, their own unique gift that was given to them by God, that they are supposed to not only protect, but also they need to make it the best it can be. Like the story of the landowner who gave tasks and talents of money to his servants. And when he returned, the one who invested it well and made extra money was blessed, whereas the one who made very little money was blessed less, and the one who just buried it and didn't do anything with it was not blessed. And those who lost, forget about it. So God expects you, Creator God, whatever you want to call the Great Spirit, expects you to take that part of you that is Christ-like, that is Christ, that part of you that is Jesus Christ, and make that the best you can be. because you will be a unique Christ, a unique anointed one, to bring your gifts. But if you just sit on your gifts and you don't use them, or if you don't present what you've been given, and if you don't make it the best you can make it and do the very best you can, then it's not going to grant you rewards in heaven. Now, how do you get rewards in heaven? You all know how to get rewards in heaven. You receive for the sake of the giver. And that is hard, but that doesn't mean you just accept any bad behavior from anybody, because God didn't just give you the ability to accept bad behavior from people. God gave you ways to defend you and your family. God has given you ways to defend yourself. Use them. Because you cannot make a good investment and have a good return of your soul unless you have the strength to defend the things you've invested in. Jesus Christ himself got angry, didn't he? When he turned over the tables of the money changers in the temple. So, was he perfect? No, he got mad. Was that proper behavior? No. They say that's okay because it's righteous indignation. It was vandalism. Christ will do this again, because that's who he is. He comes to bring a sword, not peace. But there's a place and a purpose for everything. These are all the different parts of ourselves. We each have all these things within us. We have a Jesus Christ within us who has righteous indignation. We have a Mother Mary who has compassion. We have a God the Father who oversees and tries to dole out justice appropriately and apply laws that will cause the best outcome. We all have a demon and a devil and a Satan inside of us that wants to survive and wants to do well and wants to overcome. The survival instinct. Balancing of these things is what this is all about. And these stories play out over and over and over again. But you know at every moment when you're doing something that's too dangerous. And at that moment, stopping just means that you take it easy and do what you know to be right for that day. Because the future can be changed by your behavior. And people who say that there's only predestination, they don't want to take responsibility, and they will be left behind. Okay, Capricorn. This is Pastor Rosemary coming to you from Ansar Angels Ave. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon.